didn't take the boat to Cuba. No, I didn't. I took it here. Where's here, you ask? That's Fort Jefferson, 70 miles off Key West. Nice little place. Camp here overnight. Want to go take a look at it? Let's go. So Fort Jefferson was construction started earlier in the 1800s, and it was constructed as one of a part of a series of forts to protect the shipping lanes back then through the Gulf of Mexico here, basically to protect the shipping that came from New Orleans and from Key West, as well as from the eastern seaboard that came in here throughout this whole region. The other forts that were part of the series was Fort Pickens, which I believe is over near Pensacola, and then where's the other fort? Over in New Orleans. And so it was originally constructed as a means of deterrence to keep the Spanish away, because if you recall the history of this area, the Spanish controlled this starting in the 1500s and then relinquished it later on, and then the Americans picked it up, of course. After that, though, it was an important fort in the Civil War. Hello there. Because in the Civil War, Florida was part of Confederacy, but the Keys area was ostensibly under Union control, and so the Union, through control of this fort here, as well as gaining control of everything in the Battle of New Orleans. Well, that was from the British, take that back. But having the fort over in New Orleans, and then also in the other one, the Union was able to actually control the shipping in this area during the Civil War, and actually seized or sunk over 200 Confederate boats that were plying supplies for the Confederacy. The fort consists of 3 stories, if you count the top level where the cannons were, and there were also cannons in these sections as well. And it's a round structure, and on the top, let's see if I can show it to you here. On the top they had these big Rodman guns, which could fire a 450-pound volley 3 miles. And then they also had some Parrott guns, which could fire a 300-pound volley 5 miles. And interestingly, one of the techniques that they used in firing these things was they would skip the artillery shells, or the cannonballs, whatever you want to call them, along the surface of the water, so that they would then strike the ships at or below waterline, which would do the maximum damage. Not only to quickly allow water to get in and sink the vessels, but or disable them at the very least, but for the military ships, you know, that's where they stored the gunpowder. So hopefully they hit the boat at the right place at the water line, and it penetrated the hull, and then kablooey! There goes the ship. Um, at one time there were about 400 or so soldiers stationed here, manning the guns and doing all the associated support stuff. And at one time, I think this was during construction, the population here swelled to 2,000 people. It looks like an idyllic spot, you know, being that blue water, the trade wind, the winds wafting through. But the reports and the diaries from a number of the people says it was just a miserable spot. Because their diets really consisted of salt pork, salt beef, beans, lentils, over and over and over again. And then there was always a chorus of hallelujah whenever ships were able to get in here and bring a shipment of vegetables and fruit. But, you know, in those days, with there being no refrigeration, it wasn't uncommon that the vegetables and fruit would be rotted or on the way to being rotted. So life here had its vagaries, if we should say that. And you know, it's a I don't know, it's a really fitting way for me anyway to finish this second walk across America, because as I've mentioned a number of times ad infinitum, that I have had no idea what to feel at the end of this walk. And even just the one night that I stayed here at least gave me some quiet to hopefully hear that still small voice, you know, stirring inside. And so maybe this time of reflection has planted the seed and helped it to start to germinate, so that whatever's next on the agenda comes into clear focus. And as soon as I find that out, I'll let you know. But for right now, let's look at this nice clear blue water and the pretty sights from Fort Jefferson.